before we get started, it's a big agenda, as you'll probably, those of you who've seen the agenda know. We're going to try to move this along as quickly as we can and get everybody out of here so you can get home. Hopefully not to watch the debate, but if you want to, that's up to you. Couple things first. We have 3 new items to add. Application for 1746 Southwood Road, application F 2008, F 2009 for 113 Bagley Road, and F 2010 for 165 Leaf Farm Drive. We will address those after the prior list. And we've had a request to move up the application for Heritage Crest, which is pretty straightforward, and in order to get them out of here, we're going to do that. So who's here representing Heritage Crest? Welcome. Give us your name and who you're affiliated with.
Good evening, Ron Wolf, professional engineer, representing Heritage Crest. We made a presentation at the last commission meeting.
I got it, thank you. We made a presentation at the last meeting, and I believe the commission had a field walk, and we're here to answer any questions if you have any. And
Okay, thank you. Thad, you did the site walk. Would you have any issues or give us a quick summary of what's going on?
I don't know what it looks like now, but I know when we were out there, everything that you said made sense in the way you're going to attack the program. You're going to take the diameter of the pipe and you're going to put a smaller diameter pipe inside of that, so you didn't have to tear the road up and eliminate that problem of not being able to have cars pass by. So I thought that was a good thing. On the south side of this pipe, it's already kind of natural wetland area. There's some trees, wetlands, rocks, and
Correct.
Nothing really needs to be done there. But on the other side, where the pond is, we talked to you about doing some extra work. Doing some extra work on that retaining wall that's on that side.
Yep.
And also looking to try to enhance the level of the stream a little bit there.
Yeah, so let me just get my plan. I'll put it up.
Okay.
Guys, you can just simply turn on your mics when you talk. It'll remove the feedback, but please be diligent about the mics, as this is a big meeting and we want to make sure everyone chiming in online can hear all the commissioners.
And if I didn't say this, you were going to replace that steel pipe or that metal pipe that's rusted with a ceramic pipe.
It's actually a liner that they put inside. It's more of a plastic material.
Plastic.
And then they grout in between the existing metal pipe and then the liner material, so that space is sealed. But what we had proposed on the inlet side and the outlet side, but the inlet side needs it more, is to reconstruct the masonry head walls and repoint the head walls. And then I just stopped there on the way to the meeting, and there's been some significant deterioration on that inlet side where the roadway embankment, kind of over the shoulder area, not where the pavement is, has eroded down through, and they have safety fence around it. But the plan is to reconstruct the masonry head wall as well as grout around the pipes. So we have that work proposed on the plan.
And how soon did you say you were going to start it?
They have a contractor on board, so they need to get it done ASAP, essentially, this season before the winter comes in.
So have you taken a look at it, well, you saw it today, but since the flooding, is the new pipe going to be adequate going forward?
We did the calculations for a 100-year storm event, and that's typically what we would look at. The way the roadway is designed there's actually like I don't know if you noticed that riprap spillway on the south side. So that's the low point in the road. So if the pond overtops, then it has a way for the water to go over the road and then down into the channel through that riprap spillway. It was a
You can
pretty
do
clever
that.
design.
Okay, so you've
That's
got-
all, it's all in place and exists today, and all that's in good condition, and we plan to leave that there.
Good.
But that would be the protection for, you know, a storm event larger than a 100-year storm.
Which is gonna be every storm from now on.
Yeah, well, hopefully not like that one, but,
And not tearing up the road is a good idea, too.
right. And there's utilities there so also that are underground, so that's why we went with this.
Anybody else have any comments?
How much smaller pipe is
How
much smaller pipe?
It's 6 inches smaller in diameter. But as I mentioned earlier, it has a lower friction coefficient, so it's able to pass more water than the corrugated metal pipes.
Okay.
Oh, the other one's corrugated?
Yes,
Should make a big difference.
yes.
Okay. I have no other questions. We have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Laflamme made the motion to approve. Second, Mr. Lawrence? Mr. Lawrence seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to application 1741, 203 Hollow Swamp. Do we have anyone here from the owner? Guess not.
No, it doesn't look like it. So I went out to the site, pretty basic, where you gotta remove 5 trees that came down as a result of the storm. They both cross a brook, a wetland, and an upland area. They're leaning into the house. It didn't appear that a lot of damage was done, but a simple site walk will kind of elaborate on everything the commission needs to review as far as that goes, and then we can take it on the next meeting.
Okay, I'm going to suggest that we set this for a site visit, so we can take a look at it. Let me, before we go farther, I've been through the agenda with Jordan and other people. And I think we're gonna want site visits for almost all of these and try to group them together so we can do 3, 4, 5 at a time. Most of them will not require a lot, but we should put eyes on almost all of them. So if you have any time where you're available, please let Ms. McAndrews know when you would be available to do site visits. I said a lot of these houses are right next to each other, and they're real quick visits, but they should be looked at by somebody. So we would much appreciate anything you can do. Okay, so that's set for site visit. We have a bunch that are related to the flooding. They've been designated on these forms as an F designation. Let's start with F2000, which is 76 Lee Farm Drive. Anyone here on that one? No, so we have no comments on that. Again, I've got to suggest that we simply schedule it for a site visit, and unless there's something that must absolutely be done now, nothing should be done until that's accomplished. Okay? Good. Application F2001, 308 Jeremy Swamp. We have dealt with this one before. I believe where we left this at the last time we discussed it is we were looking for a planting plan. I recognize there has been some additional deposition of material and possibly some erosion. Is there anyone here representing the property owner? Come up and give your name and identification, your address, please.
I'm representative for 308 Jeremy Swamp. I'm the ex-husband of the owner,
Your name?
Cassandra. My name's Joseph Achenbach.
Thank you, Joseph. So I think the gist of this has not changed. We are gonna come out, take another look at it, see what the flooding has done to the property. Has it done anything substantial, or is it basically?
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, every property in the drainage line that I came in 4 months ago and initially told you was a concern, every property's been heavily
Okay,
damaged.
let's discuss yours. What happened?
Well, hers has been, the embankment's completely eroded. Another tree fell on the power lines. So there's quite a bit of cleanup. Some of it's half on her property, half on the neighbors. Some of the neighbors started cleanup. Most of their driveways have been deposited into the stream. Again, I just want to mention that this is, happened again, 6 months ago. This was occurring. So we already talked about this. Most of us met on site. We know the drainage concern. So there's been a lot of damage,
Has there been any encroachment, any further encroachment toward the house?
How so? Do you mean as far as the embankment
Erosion.
eroding? Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
The stream is actually now about 20 feet over from where it was, closer to the embankment. That's where another tree came down.
Do
So
you have-
Eversource has been in, they cut the tree to get it off the
Do
wires.
you have somebody putting together a plan to reinforce that bank? Because we'll need to see that.
Well, there's actually, it's extensive for every property, so this isn't a one property type of thing, because if we fix anything on ours, it's gonna be washed out once again, and this is the same issue that I, again, warned you guys 4 months ago about. And now, even on the list tonight, there's how many properties that neighborhood at. How many driveways got lost? I mean, water through houses, in garages, the culverts destroyed on the town property, on residentials, starting from the top of the hill, like it's all the way down, it's throughout. So unless it's an entire remediation, it's very hard for us to correct.
Well, unless you start doing
And-
something on it, there's very good chance nothing's gonna be done on a wider basis for possibly years.
Well, that's where I was hoping where, you know, being that there's so many houses affected, that maybe we could have a bigger plan with the town to address their part of erosion, because it's all part of the same stream.
You
And
have to understand, we can't deal with that,
yeah,
okay?
okay,
What we have is an issue where you were ordered not to do anything because of some stuff you've done. You've had further damage. We're willing to work with you on that. We are not gonna go to the town and say, let's put together a big happy plan for $2.5 million to fix all this property.
okay,
We can't do it.
okay,
If you wanna do that, that would be great.
okay.
In the meantime, if you wanna do anything, we need to know what you wanna do. Now, if you wanna just leave it there and let it erode, you can do that.
Well, we already spoke on site, so Jordan was familiar with about cleaning up the stream and, you know, having to add rock. This is what we spoke about.
Yep, so what Bill is
It's
saying is
pretty
you'll have to
clear.
put forth the plan in order to
Okay.
provide all those details to the commission, so they
Okay.
can review it and then ultimately approve it if they decide
Okay.
that it's, you know, in line with the wetlands.
So now,
regulations.
all the areas that are part of the town that got washed away that connect to this, how does all this work, basically?
Nobody knows that.
So nobody knows how this
We
is.
certainly don't know that. The town has not gotten that far. Right now, the town is trying to rebuild
I'm
bridges
just,
that are down.
I'm confused because, again, this was brought to your attention months ago. So this was an additional round of damage. And now that it's so just consuming of the entire wetlands, you know, 20-something different properties. I tried to meet with Public Works. I mean, we had a site visit. He actually gave me this map that shows that these streams are actually natural flow, which they're all not. And, you know, you look up with the state, it's all Class 1 stream. So the amount of water draining through there is very detrimental to the entire roadway. Thus, why people are here for
You do understand
this.
that the water's gonna keep draining.
We understand
It's not
that, but
gonna
it's
be
about
diverted somewhere
reinforcing it.
else.
But if we clean up our section and the town doesn't fix where the road got all undermined, how do we
Well,
go about that?
the town's plan is to fix the road, I would imagine.
Eventually.
However, when you,
Does anybody else living in the same world as me? Is there anybody else in reality? Because reality is we have an issue. I warned you about it months ago. 2 commission meetings, 3 site visits. Most of us put our eyes on it.
so we're talking about two different things. You're talking about and fixing the drainage coming off the
My
road.
first part
Where is
was-
it gonna go if it doesn't go towards the stream
There's,
where it
for one,
has for?
there is options, but at the very least, bracing stuff up with riprap correctly is a huge part of it. And being that it goes through all these properties the way it does, it's, for one, the stream should have been modified with the state from a Class 1, because that Class 1 means that there's no modification to the stream. We have probably, just in her span, there's 40 catch basins through her front yard. So don't get this confused. What caused the damage in these properties was the town roadway drainage
What caused
going
the
through
damage
with
in
no
Providence was
retention.
11 inches of rain.
But this happened,
Okay.
I
You
already
bought
met with
the
you
property.
before the
Excuse
rain.
me, you're looking for someone to take up your cause, and what we're trying
My
to tell you
cause.
is this, we are not the people who can take up your cause.
But this is throughout the wetlands.
laughing at
Who
us is
controls,
not going
who
to get
controls
you
water
what you
draining
want.
through the
And
wetlands?
you can talk over me all you want. It's not gonna change the situation. So why don't we just take a look at your application, what we have written in front of us.
Okay.
All right, let's stick
It's
to
now no
that.
good because it's been overwhelmed by actual events on the ground. You need a new application with real plans. We require a planting plan before we will approve anything, which you
Okay.
have failed to provide us after having promised it.
We haven't
Stop
gotten
it.
any information.
You can stop.
Did you send us the information from the meeting that you said at the meeting you were gonna send us on Friday? You said, I'll send you what, the company we met with, Earth, or whatever the name was?
Earthstones, yeah.
So, did you send that to my ex-wife yet? Any of the information about what
So,
types of plantings or
On-site,
anything that he said?
Earthstones came out.
We were supposed to have a number from an emergency
Joe,
company.
we have to have decorum at a meeting, okay? And we can't speak over each other, otherwise none of us are gonna get to a resolution. And there's a lot of other people that have bigger problems that we have to get to, okay? When we were on site with Kyle from Earthtones, he had kindly made a concession to appear on his own time to give you information as to what you need to do to provide a planting plan. He named on site a number of pieces of vegetation that you could utilize. He gave you inches of separation that you need to adhere to that would provide a quality planting plan. He gave you areas to not worry about because they would impede on your sight line. He gave you ideas of areas that you can maintain your mowing line. These were all expressed to you on site. And on site, I had said that we need to have you generate a plan for this commission to review. I'm not in charge of reviewing or writing your plan for you. Kyle from Earthtones is not in charge of writing your plan for you. He was kind enough to come out and provide you that industry knowledge so that you can get through this commission. We can get you through the enforcement action that caused all this in the first place. And this commission is willing to work with you on every other piece that you need to do for your property. You talk about reinforcing the banks. The stream is on your property. Public Works isn't gonna reinforce a stream that isn't on their property. They cannot and will not operate on residential property. It's yours, you own it. They regulate it. You have to put a plan for it that's gonna protect your property, and they're willing to work with you. But we keep spinning our wheels here because you wanna play the point and name game, and that's not getting anyone anywhere. So if you're willing to work with this commission, they are willing to work with you, but you have to do what they're asking. It's that simple.
Whatever plantings you need her to add, I'm sure she would be happy to add.
That's great.
As far as what he had said was that nothing, as far as plantings or any of that, should be done until everything else is corrected in the line of it.
That's
So
correct.
as a part of us to do a proper remediation plan for the initial destruction, we need to know moving forward what the entire plan is so we can address this all together.
What you're
And that's why he
misunderstanding-
told us to wait to do that until
you get that
everything
approved,
else.
Yes, but he's not talking about you're trying to elicit money. or
We're not
the
eliciting
state- Yes,
money.
you're trying to, or get the state to come out and fix your problem.
It's,
not
it
going
doesn't
down.
involve the state
It's
though.
not gonna go up and fix as what you're claiming, 19 drop points or something?
These are
in
catch
culverts?
basins from the town of Southbury.
It's not
that
gonna
we
get
were told there
fixed
was
tomorrow.
10.
If you want
It's-
your property fixed, you have to come up with a plan, or her property. If you
Okay.
don't get the plan, it's not gonna be approved, and you're not gonna get it fixed. You can
And-
try to contact other people, you might try to contact, calling NRCS and see if they could, excuse me, see if they will come out and
We were
help you do
supposed to
that.
get the number from Jordan.
In the meantime,
He didn't get it to us yet, so,
we are dealing with the town on a whole bunch of other things,
yeah.
some of which will involve Jeremy Swamp Road, some of which will involve Lee Farm, some will involve Purchasebrook, Kettletown Road, Bagley, South Britton Road, Main Street, North Main Street, and all the highways around here. You are not high on this list for the town to come in and do anything. Something may get done eventually. In the meantime, you have to take care of your own property. On top of which, when you, or your ex, or your wife bought this house, the stream was already there.
You're right,
That has not changed.
you're right.
So you have sort of taken on that responsibility. I'm sorry, it's a mess. A lot of us have messes. You have to deal with it.
Well, unfortunately, it's not
requirement
just
is
her
you've gotta get
property,
these
and it's
plans.
an entire drainage issue that caused,
You don't
We
listen, do you?
understand that.
I do listen, I just, it's what's there and what's not there.
Well, you
So,
accept it. Try and deal with the town in
We're-
another way.
What we're trying to do here is talk about your application.
So
If
you're,
listen, just give me a second.
Mhm.
What you're saying is the town has a drainage issue on that road. This is not the forum to go about that. You can go down to the first selectman's office, you can go to the town,
Okay.
road crew. They're working on shoring up the sides of the roads as it is, right? Getting to catch basins and that sort of thing, I'm sure is on the list somewhere. It may not happen right away. The application we have is for something that happened pre-storm. So how we go forward from there, yeah, you probably need to come up with a different planting plan at this point, and then figure out when you do it, maybe after the catch basins are fixed and everything else is shored up to, however it is, if it has to wait that long. But a plan is what we need to make some sort of determination on what you do going
So
forward.
it's really just the plantings plan at this point, right?
So a planting plan would get you through the enforcement action. This commission has said that they're willing, and at the kind of recommendation of Kyle from Earth Tones, the planting plan shouldn't be acted upon until after we've done the reinforcement and improvements that you need to do to protect your property. Because there's no sense in planting all those things and then having to get access around them and potentially damaging them. So this commission would need a planting plan that they approve that would get you out of the enforcement action. It would still hold on your property, essentially saying, once we're able to move forward with your application to reinforce your banks, to protect your property, to cut down whatever trees that you need, then after all that's said and done, we can move forward with actually putting in place the planting plan, and then that would finally remove the enforcement action from your property, hopefully shore you up from any erosion in the future, and put a nice bow on this whole situation.
The whole idea behind planting plans is to stop streams from moving their course.
Yeah, we don't have an issue with the planting
No,
plan.
and
We're waiting for the information from Jordan, because we met and you
Well,
said you were gonna send it to
You can
Matt.
talk to
so
Earth Tones, just the
waiting.
same, they're in Woodbury.
Yeah,
They have a phone
that's
number
fine.
somewhere, and I'm
That's
sure
fine.
they'd be glad to help you out with
Has
that.
the card.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm sure they'd help you come up with some sort of plan as well, so.
perfect.
Is there anything else?
No,
Do we have any questions?
no, but we will continue the show cause until the other stuff is produced, okay?
Yep.
So done, thank you.
Perfect.
Go to application F 2002, 268 Jeremy Swamp Road. Driveway repair, which I gather has been pretty much destroyed. Is there someone here to represent the owner? No. Okay, let's schedule this one for a site visit. Application F 2003, 346 Jeremy Swamp Road, or Jeremy Swamp Road. What's the status on this one, Jordan? Have they done something with the driveway?
We're on F 2003. So doing a quick drive-by, it looks like the repairs have been done. It doesn't look like anyone's here to represent the owner. But again, a simple site visit while we hit on all three of these and hopefully get in touch with them to appear
All
at
right,
the
let's
next meeting.
schedule site visit for that one along with the other ones on Jeremy Swamp. Moved to application 2004, 207 and 209 Bagley, common driveway washed out. Someone here representing anybody? No? All right, scheduled for a site visit. Application F 2005, 1563 Kettletown Road. Drainage ditch washed out, driveway repair, culverts, a bunch of other things. Is anybody here on that one? Could you go up, sir, and tell us your name, please?
Good evening. My name is Francis Bresson. On September 6th, my wife and I visited the Inland Wetlands office and spoke with Jordan to address the extreme flooding damage to our property that was sustained on 8/18. We already reported that damage on the website because we thought it was extremely
Great,
important to
thank you.
do so.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and the town had requested that, and we said yes. Two major points were addressed during our visit with them. The first is that we reported an emergency temporary repair was performed by Chris Stupak Enterprises on our driveway. We could not egress or enter back in without it. The repair included fixing the complete collapse of the driveway. It made it impossible. I mean, you just couldn't get out. A lot of people had that. The temporary repair began on 8/19, concluded on 8/21 for the emergency repair. We are requesting a permit. Secondly, to be included in that permit, we are requesting the permanent repair of the driveway, including replacing the 24-inch existing drainage pipes that equals to or greater than that diameter, and repair of the swale that washed out in several locations. For these permanent repairs, we intend on hiring again Chris Stupak. We are certain that with the experience and consultation of an on-staff civil engineer, which his dad is, he's a civil engineer, and he already looked at the property, that they are extremely capable of handling those repairs. I have a whole bunch of information for you, back everything up, including pictures, and I did a actual map showing you where the problems were on this particular piece of property with the swale property coming down off of Burr Road Estates, and it just kind of washed the swale, and it kind of changed the direction of it across my neighbor's backyard, which that wasn't cool. But anyways, there, you can see where the wetlands are. I put those on a green arrow. I don't know if you have that in front of you, or if Jordan has that. But the repairs need to be done. The driveway is already starting to cave in. The pipe was 35 years old. It was a corrugated metal pipe, and the whole bottom is all rotted out
So
on
that's all
it.
gotta be torn out? Is it gone, or do you have
We
to
have-
still take that out?
I can't hear any.
Are you gonna have to remove the pipe?
Yes, he will remove the old pipe and replace that with a plastic pipe, like I said, either of the same diameter or greater diameter. That we're,
Bigger?
yeah, that we're trying, yeah, instead of 24, we were talking 30. You know, just make a little upgrade and clean everything up, and then, of course, we'll have to pave our driveway when the time is right. Other than that, with the map, I wish I had the maps in front of you. That would show you exactly what it looks like, and
I think we're gonna come out and take a look. That's all
you're
right.
more than happy to do that.
Let
You
you get
come on
moving
out.
this and get your driveway accessible again.
Yeah, this is something that he wanted to come out next week and get this done. We're kind of a time frame here with winter coming up pretty quick,
Well,
and
we
it
got
will be
winter
here
coming
before
too,
we
so-
know it.
Yeah.
So, yes, and again, very clear-cut, simple. These are repairs that need to be done. Not blaming anybody right now for anything, except that we had a heck of a washout due to a storm none of us have ever seen in our lives.
Yep. It's a mess.
So, that's what I have to say. Okay, and I thank you very much for your time.
Questions, anybody?
That's a quick question for Jordan. Is there a way for us at these site walks to make a determination?
So we still have to hold a quorum. We have to give due notice to the public, filing an agenda 24 hours in advance. So
Okay.
unless we are intending on
I'm just,
holding,
this
it just-
gentleman's got a contractor lined up, and we wanna take a look at it, and
so everyone here who's under the emergency management has been authorized to essentially move forward with work as of right now.
okay,
He's gotten access to his property. That was the emergency side of that management procedure that we allowed
okay,
property owners to essentially get safe egress and ingress. What we have here is what I hope will be managed by hosting special meetings in the
Okay.
near future,
okay.
either in the next week, maybe in the next 2 weeks at the longest, but that's gonna depend on everyone's availability. That's my hope, is that everyone here is gonna get moved forward, you know, through this process a bit quicker, and that we're able to be in more of an attendance than normal.
Okay. And I'm
I
assuming
also-
they put in a temporary pipe so that you can get into your, and out of your property?
It's collapsing right
Nothing-
now.
nothing
No,
at
it
all?
is not a temporary pipe.
Okay, that's
It's
what I was,
not.
okay.
It's the same
And
old
there-
pipe.
There is an
It's the same old one.
emergency situation of
Well,
being able to
so-
get that pushed
We'll
through.
try to get.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Get you authorized to move ahead.
Yeah.
If it gets worse, talk to Jordan, but
It is getting
if you're
worse
really
as the
having
days are going
issues,
on.
I think we'll just let you fix it,
Okay.
that part. The more extensive work we want to get, we'll look at.
The swale, that's really important to get that done. The retaining pond is now full of boulders and gravel. And if we get any substantial amount of rain, it's not gonna do any good except flood out my neighbors, so this is
So
important.
I just want to clarify
That's
one
my
thing.
daughter.
Are we getting permission from the commission now to do the repairs to the driveway that will repair that drainage pipe?
If the pipe is collapsing, we would
It is.
consider that to be an emergency.
Okay, so that
We
would
can
be
take care of
another
that.
aspect of
But
that,
the drainage
so
pond and stuff,
if,
that's
if,
another
if our
issue.
contractor is able to do that, say next
Just do
week,
it.
do it.
We'll let you do that.
Okay, wonderful,
Okay.
thank you very much.
And I did, I
Yeah,
did
I was gonna say,
supply,
we're okay to do that, right? I mean,
It
it's
will
under
be the same
emergency-
size, if not larger.
If the driveway is collapsing, it's an emergency.
it is. I also supplied the approximate cost of what this is gonna be, and the first initial cost was just to do the emergency was over 8,000. The second one, we're looking at $18,000 to complete everything, so
I'm not surprised.
it's, and, which it is what it is, but my thing is just to make it safe and yet protect the wetlands and, you know, protect our property from being washed out any further, because I'm losing a lot along.
We're gonna come out and take a look.
Okay,
I'm not sure when, but very soon. And go ahead, since the driveway's failing,
Yeah.
have the contractor take care of that right away.
okay, so he can take care of that pipe and the culvert. That's right,
I don't know
sitting
what it
right
is, but
there.
I'm guessing that's what needs to be
Yeah,
done.
okay. I thank you.
Yeah, whatever gives you egress to and from your house. That's really what he's after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just running for fire, ambulance, anything.
Exactly.
Right.
Getting
Absolutely.
of age, so,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna move on to application F 2007, 1040 Purchase Brook and 1042 Purchase Brook. Driveway repairs? I know you.
Mr. Spencer, how are you?
Fine.
Members
Could
of
we
the
have your
commission?
name and your
Yeah,
company,
Mark
please?
Lancor with Dymarv. I'm here on behalf of my clients who are here in the audience from 1040 and 1042 Purchase Brook. This is probably one of those properties that has probably had more pictures and more, let's put it this way, publicity than many of the properties, even on Community House Road. I've given you, in the application, you've got copies and pictures of the property itself. This is definitely an emergency. They have no access to the property. This is on Purchase Brook Road. It's 17, 18 feet of height that was washed out. The old culvert, which was a 6.5-foot high by 84-inch wide old CMP that was actually rusting out. That was actually replaced in 2008 when the original washed out back prior to that was installed in 1988. And I will say that that was because of an inadequate design. We looked at it, we looked at the details. This pipe was completely just thrusted out, just due to the design itself. The pipe was undermined by the water. You're talking 17 feet of water was headed up over the top. Water never went over the driveway. What happened is that the subbase to the material washed out
Oh, great.
because there was no cutoff wall put on this pipe. And the original design called for head walls, which were not put in place.
Okay.
So my clients don't have any access to their property right now. I can tell you, if you took a look at the pictures that I sent you, you'll see these. This is what's made the paper from FEMA. This is the driveway. Here's the river. And I'll tell you, this is not a cheap fix.
No.
We are doing everything we can to help our folks here. We're probably looking at a 9-foot diameter pipe that's going to be smooth inside. It's going to be aluminized with a coating on it. It's going to have the proper, and we're also looking at proper scour protection. Never was any of this done before. We're following all the federal highway standards, okay? The original design was a 10-year storm event that we calculated that was supposed to be purported to be a 50-year storm event, and that was not the case. We are doing our best to get them something at least for a 25-year storm, even at a 9-foot hole, 9-foot size pipe. That's what you get with a 1 foot of freeboard.
How big is the drainage area?
Drainage area is 2.1 square miles,
Oh, no wonder.
okay? This is very similar to, yeah, so this is not, it's not a small, we've done the analysis for this. My clients are here. This is an emergency, We are already preparing plans, what I'm hopeful to be able to do. I mean, even though you're gonna be doing a site walk, we're preparing plans, we're getting contractors involved. We're gonna be bidding the job out to get it done right. And then, we're gonna be on board doing inspections on behalf of all this, make sure it's done correctly. And I wanna be able to get the plans done as soon as we get the pricing done, to sit with Jordan and get a go-ahead, because they have no access to their
Way to
property.
go.
None.
That's fine. We will come out and take a look.
Oh, yeah, we welcome you as soon as you want to come out. I mean, just.
Bring a shovel.
Yeah, bring a shovel, exactly. But you will see that the river, the brook is actually widened 3 or 4 times the normal width of what it was. And if one of the pictures I'll show you is in here, is the actual culvert that actually just blew right out and went out like a missile.
Great.
Yeah, so this is
You
it.
heard
And
anything from FEMA?
FEMA was there, and, you know, they, like everything, every government agency on that federal level is, you know, listening, but I know folks that are down in Sandy, down in Long Island, still don't have money from FEMA, because this is infrastructure, and it's not in a FEMA floodplain, so who knows? And they've been in touch with our state representatives and that sort of thing, but they can't wait. We gotta get this thing
We will
done.
do what we can do.
I appreciate it
Thank you.
very much,
Just
very
as you
much.
know, keep us advised as things go
We
on.
will, and I'll
Keep
be,
Jordan
obviously,
advised.
Jordan's got a good handle on things, and we'll be in touch with Jordan.
Good, thanks very much, Mark.
You're welcome.
Schedule a site visit, please. We're moving on to,
Sorry, just, you're going to be adding these two also on the agenda.
to schedule site visits. I don't think we even need to do anything.
You don't need to call it out.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt for a minute. We've got a couple more. We're gonna schedule site visits. It's 614 Southford Road and 602 Southford Road. I don't know exactly what they need. We need to take a look at it.
make a motion to add this to the agenda.
That's what we're doing.
Oh, sorry.
Second? Donna seconds. Those items are added and site visits will be scheduled. Thank you. Where was I?
So we don't get a chance to speak?
2008.
No, yep, absolutely. The applicants are here.
Oh, is it, oh, you're here?
Yep.
Oh, come on up. Sorry, I didn't know you were here. Please identify yourself and your property, please.
Yep. I'm speaking for 2 properties, myself and my brother. So Andrea Dibner, I'm at 614 Salford Road. My brother Eric Dibner and Kathy Dibner, they're at 602 Salford Road. We are ground zero for where the bridle trail blew out.
Ah,
Okay, so we understand there's a process here, we understand there's gonna be some back and forth. The application is for the emergency work to try to clear the property and prepare it at least so we know it's gonna be a while, so for weather and winter. Our biggest concern, where we really need the town's help, is, and I heard you before with the other applicant, that the town really doesn't have any say about what's gonna happen and what the state is doing to ameliorate what their property did to everybody down 67. But I've lived in the property for 53 years, so I've been here for a very long time. I know this brook when it used to be running, then I know when it would stop running, and then when it continues, and it picked back up in the last 10 years, after storms, it would run again, and always have water in it now. I heard some people saying that it was really a dry stream, and it really isn't. It's the South Bullet Hill brook is a running brook, and really.
it is now.
It has been for the last 10 years. There was about a 15, 20-year period where it was pretty quiet, but it's been running for the last 10 years. And I know that because the main railroad old stone culvert that got clogged is 20 feet from the corner of my house. And as kids, we used to walk through it. So very familiar with it. We can clean up, the fact that we're forced to clean up state property, thousands and thousands of cubic feet of sand from the bridle trail, as well as hundreds of 50 to 100 foot tall trees that wash through our entire property. We have about 11 acres combined. We understand that if we did something to our brook or our wetlands, we would fix it. But when the state's property did something to our property, it's inconceivable, it's unfathomable the amount of work that has to happen. We've had diggers out there trying to just clear some areas of sand. We have 10, 15-foot high things of sand, and that's not even touching the sand that's all over our property. So while we're doing the emergency and we understand we don't even know how to begin to start planning this, and we need staging areas for where all the trees are gonna go. Where does all this thousands of cubic feet of sand go back to? Who's picking it up? Are they going to be rebuilding the bridle trail? So the town, right, we're all in this together. What flows from Seymour to Oxford through our Southbury, if that's not addressed as a global plan, then we're all gonna be back here every storm fixing things, and we're gonna have more storm damage, because they're projecting, they said something like 71 million gallons of water were backed up behind the bridle trail, behind my property. And if that bridle trail blew out 20 feet to the left, my entire house would be down in the center of town, a mile away. The strength of the storm, I mean, I don't know if you guys have walked the brook, the small little brook that is now 50 to 60 feet wide in many areas, all the way down to Community House towards the tennis courts. How do we deal with that? How is it, if you're holding us accountable as a homeowner to maintain the wetlands and the brooks and all of that water coursing, how is the town, how is the state, I know it's state property, how are they not responsible to do the same? They talk about that they're responsible, it's either 20 feet or 50 feet. My understanding, it's supposed to be 50 feet from the center line of the bridle trail is their property. I've heard 20 feet, but it doesn't matter. That brook runs alongside of it, all the culverts run under it, and nobody's maintained it. So if we're forced to maintain, can you help us get the state be forced to maintain? There's a dereliction of duty, failure to maintain. There's going to be a class action lawsuit about everybody along the bridle trail if we can't get people to have a conversation. And we understand it takes time. I'm an architect, I do FEMA work, we're literally rebuilding stuff from Sandy 10 years later.
Right.
We're working in Texas on Harvey, even longer. FEMA is impossible to work
I
with.
suspect you know more about that than any of us do.
Yes. Yes, trust me, we've been through deep. We've been through the Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. We've been speaking with the Pomperaug Watershed Coalition, because they've obviously done a lot of reporting on what's been going on through the streams throughout the state of Connecticut. We're hearing all the same things. From the state agencies, well, there's nothing we can do right now until FEMA declares, until the president declares. Okay, I know, once they declare, that's fine for all of the essential buildings and all of the, right? But nothing to do with land, nothing to do with water coursing, nothing to do with streets. FEMA doesn't care.
Yeah, I guess we do sympathize with that. We are in sort of the same position as I mentioned to Joe. We don't control any money. We don't have
I'm not asking for
resources to
money.
tell you
We're
what.
asking for.
What are you asking for?
Advice?
Well, advice. Obviously, we're asking, Jordan's been amazing in coming down. I mean, within 15 minutes of us first meeting him, he went to the property. He said, we have wetlands on our property. Mind you, they are wetlands created by the large culvert that was put on 67, because I've lived through that as a child, and it's fine, and we've maintained the wetlands. But the brook is a bigger issue. The brook is no longer in the same place it was on our property on 817. It is in a completely different area, and it broke into two sections. So while we can manage the water course as we see fit on our property, because you can't tell where it was. So even if you came to the property, you can't tell us, we need a land surveyor come in and look off the GIS map and pretend they know all the points where the brook was. They never mapped that.
Okay, so we don't have any experience with this, so this is our first time going through this as well. So you're asking for us for our advice. We don't, I'm sure there's some kind of precedent that we can go back to and learn about. Right now, I don't think we're prepared to help. I don't know if that's our position to help. So
I think what it is, our position is to not hinder.
Not hinder,
I can assure you, we are
Right,
not gonna make
exactly.
you restore wetlands that are under 10 feet of sand.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't worry about that. That's not gonna happen.
That Jordan was very nice to let us know that, because
Our
there was no,
involvement-
you're talking about on just our two properties alone, over $1 million worth of infrastructure damage.
Yeah,
It's
that's horrible.
we don't have
It's
it.
awful.
You can take the property, it's a gift to the city if you're gonna make us fix it, because that's
They're
not gonna.
They're gonna make,
Yeah.
they can't.
But the
But at
problem
same
is,
time, we weren't gonna get in your way for what you can do. We will work with you.
but
as
somebody's gonna
hard as
have
we
to,
can
we are,
help.
the brook starts way far away, right? But the brook now that runs behind the south side of the bridle trail is now running in a different course. It's very shallow. That brook is the same brook that runs all the way down to the center of town.
Yeah,
So,
that's-
if we don't, if there is not a master plan from the town that is either designed by the state, right? Because is the town responsible for it, is the state responsible for it? If both, if we don't have that as a secondary step to this emergency cleanup of whatever we need to do, then everybody downstream from us, everybody, including the center of town, is going to have a problem moving forward. So we can make it look pretty and cute and nice on what we have on our property, and we can restore it so it's, clean in our areas, not the wetlands, because there's thousands of debris and trees there, that's not gonna
get
happen.
restored.
But just the land itself, the brook has to be engineered. And we can't hire an engineer to design our site, and then the neighbors down the line can't hire separate engineers to design their site. And to ask all of the neighbors, even if we hired the same engineering company, to re-engineer the entire brook, we can't take responsibility for how it goes through the city and
That's
the
correct,
state.
you can't.
Okay, so I'm not asking you for an answer. I'm asking you, we all need to play in the same nice sandbox here, because we have to make the state and the Corps of Engineers and whoever's gonna come in to really figure out what we need to do for our infrastructure, and we need to make it a plan that we can all live with, and that it's not putting a burden on homeowners who we don't know what we're supposed to be doing here.
You don't have the millions of dollars.
No, we
it's
don't
gonna
have the
take to
millions of
fix.
dollars to do it. But if we don't fix it, center of town is gonna get flooded every single time.
And it has been getting flooded quite regularly, as you probably know.
Yes.
For a long time.
Yes.
This just blew some of it out.
I mean, yes, it was the storm event, but this is just something that really highlighted very quickly where there's failure of maintenance and really looking at the bigger picture in our immediate towns. I mean, it's really from Seymour to Woodbury. I mean, we've all been experiencing major issues for the last 20 years. So I think we just need you to agree that the emergency permit is the emergency permit, but we don't know what the plan is.
Right.
So you're asking for a plan in there, and I'm saying, we're gonna restore it back to what it is, but how
You're
we
not
do
gonna
that?
restore it back to where it is,
ask
you
a
can't.
question? Is there something that needs to be done in that area? I mean, I've seen some of the pictures. I
So,
get a general idea.
Our
about
biggest
it.
issue right now is, even if we have people, wonderful people who are coming and donating their equipment and their time to move heavy stuff, but we don't know where to put it. I can't, right, so somebody also said, put the trees on top of the driveway. Well, now, our driveway is literally across the community house where everybody's running through. I don't have enough land area to put thousands of cubic feet of sand and thousands of linear feet of trees on top of the driveway for DOT to pick up. That's not gonna work.
And I think that's where I was going with that. The things that need to be moved have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And like you saw down by community house, they're hauling it away.
Yes.
And you, obviously, to be able to pay for that would be a huge amount of money.
And I don't wanna dump it in the land and let it just die, because it's an eyesore for everybody. I mean, and it's not healthy.
At the end of the day, is there, you say infrastructure, the stream itself is what you're talking about?
For this
The
commission,
embankment?
the stream itself, the brook, the South Bullet Hill Brook is decimated. In our property, it doesn't exist. I know down further, and I think a lot of neighbors were gorged out, so there's a deeper ravine. We don't have that.
It's wide.
It's,
Right, it just flows
it
on the
literally is, if it's gonna rain in an event where the brook used to be 8 to 15 feet wide, depending on where it was. No, it was never at 15, it was like 8 to 10 feet wide. And it used to, when I was little, it was 2 to 3 feet. Now it's like 12 inches or so is maybe the deepest it was, because over the years it just was sedimented. But ours is literally now 6 inches and over 300, it could literally go 300 feet the width of the back of my brother's yard.
So,
And I don't think there's an expectation for you to create a channel or do anything with that. I realize that should be done, but I don't think the commission here expects you to do
Well,
something in that regard.
we can't.
I know, that's what I'm saying, I wanna make sure we're clear on that,
Yes.
because
at the
you
same.
create a channel, we're gonna have the same thing like what's on his property, and it's gonna move whenever we have a large
So,
storm event.
I mean, the bigger conversation where we're really gonna need your help, and, you know, I'm a bulldog, I will get the state and continue to work the state and push them through, but I need to know who on, this commission has a lot to say, so even if the state engineers it, you should have an eye on it, right? And who do we need to get all in the rooms? When I speak to people, when we start sending out emails, when we're gonna look at an attorney to come in and see if there's a class action suit here against the state, honestly, because every time it rains now, everybody who's off the bridle trail we're terrified. You know, I was not home, thank God, that night, my sister-in-law was, and everybody who was living around the area said it sounded like a jet engine had crashed into the,
But that section of the trail's gone, right?
it is gone. So they keep saying they may build it back, they may
No,
put a
they're-
bridge.
You're not gonna build, you don't wanna build back.
I don't want to build back, but I also don't want people who are walking down the bridle trail to freely run into our property. So there has to be some, right, and there has to be maintenance of the brook. So if they build something back, the culverts, they have to literally, somebody, because sometimes it's on people's wetland, back properties, and sometimes it's the state property. There are thousands of trees down that are just sitting in the brook right now. So the next,
Do you want our help, how to get rid of it?
how to get rid of it, and how to, more importantly, engineer it for the next 50 years.
Did you speak with anyone at the road department in town?
And who? The road?
Yeah,
Public
Public
Works.
Works.
Public Works. No, I have not spoken to Public Works because Deep is responsible for the bridle trail and all of that. And they were talking about working with the state on possibly, it has to be an engineer review, but who's gonna pay for that? They're not responsible for it. We have to wait for FEMA. I mean, it's
I mean,
just,
it seems like a lawsuit is really what you're gonna have to do to go after the state for this, because how are homeowners supposed to come up with a crazy amount of money?
but it doesn't matter. If we
to-
fix it on our property,
And it's everybody. It's not
It's an
just-
upstream problem.
Right.
Now it's an upstream problem because we have a washed out
Well, the thing
downstream.
is, this happened throughout the whole area, so maybe there'll be a lot of class action suits, but
Yeah, and from what I'm
Yeah.
understanding, I mean, you know, we don't see our neighbors all the time when we're here, but I'm hearing more and more, every neighbor along the bridle trail, along the brook, have been complaining about soil erosion on their property for a very long time. And it's not something that the state didn't know wasn't an issue
But
related to the
as-
brooks
as
and the
you-
bridle trail.
You certainly know, trying to get Deep to move.
Yeah.
And actually do anything, it's extremely difficult.
Yeah, well, I had to
It's
force them
probably
to
gonna
remove
have
the
to go through
100-foot
the
trees that were
legislature.
hanging over my house on the collapsed remaining part of the bridle trail, and it took me a week to do that, which is
Right.
ridiculous.
But that's how they are.
Yeah.
And you're probably gonna have to get the legislature, I hate to say this, the legislature involved to come up with some money to do some of this stuff.
Yes.
And I think their
But if the
priorities are
Inland
probably
Wetlands
gonna be-
Commission isn't standing right next to us in this conversation, you're commissioned to make sure that the town is safe and that you're protecting our water streams and making sure that the watershed is maintained properly and doing what it's supposed to be doing. And if it means making sure every development has larger retention ponds, and if it means all the culvert that's passing through, all through these areas where these erosions are happening has to be made bigger, then that's what this commission has to help us do. Because it's not a one property problem, it's an entire community problem. It's a state problem.
State problem.
And you guys are, for us, the first step to help us find the right team to make these things better for our, proper and correct for our town. So,
Well put.
okay.
Thank you. Not quite sure what we do with that. I think we agree that we would be happy to work with the homeowners to try and get this stuff done. But we have no direct authority, no money.
If the homeowners in all these applications are looking for support there's only so much we could do, but, as being a voice or, like she said, standing alongside them, what could we do for that? There's meetings about this sort of thing, I would imagine are already in talks, but, we have several of these, right along this, all the way down the bridle trail. And like she said, some of them are on private property, some of them on state property. We need to get somebody down, the DEP, to come down and have a,
They've done it, they've been there.
well, no, I understand that, but she's got a point. How do we move forward with this, and what do we do?
Do you guys know John Field from, I don't know that, from Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security?
I
That's the
don't.
state, he's with the state. They're technically either in conjunction with or adjacent, or just above or beyond, below deep. I think they're above deep. I mean, it's like, we have to connect the dots of all the authorities. And if you don't know who they are, I'm a little concerned, because what you do is something that they should be looking over at all. You know, they should understand what your commission does. So I know some of the names, but we're gonna need town pull, and if it's, Selectman Manville, I know Stephen Schnell, you know, he's responsible for emergency management. I mean, he's just, you know, it's gonna be a collective effort of people who have authority and can push the right buttons and speak to the right people.
You're absolutely right, and I think we can provide you support. We're kind of at the bottom of that list.
We're below you, so.
Yeah, unfortunately. And we'll be happy to provide support through our office. I think Jordan,
And will Jordan be
Help.
the contact person, or is there somebody?
we have not discussed any of that. And frankly, you know, we rarely talk to anybody from the state. We're way below their level of interest unless there's a disaster, which we now have in magnified form. So it's gonna take a while to straighten all this out and figure out who actually can do what. And particularly, as you've discovered, with a mix of public and private properties, it gets harder, not easier. And I would imagine that nobody has insurance that covers any of this unless the houses were actually physically damaged.
No, it's considered a flood,
Right.
unless you have flood
Ms.
insurance.
Dibner?
None of us are in a flood zone.
Andrea, could you come up to because
All of us have called insurance, we're not in a flood zone in our area. So flood insurance said, sorry, we can't help you. And even if you had flood insurance, even if you can get flood insurance without being in a flood zone, but unless it's declared a disaster from FEMA, flood insurance won't pay.
And they won't cover some of
They
the
don't
soil
cover
deposition
site,
and stuff anyway.
They don't cover site, they don't cover trees unless
Only
it
the
falls
house.
on your house, nothing. So there's no point in for us to have flood insurance unless our house was.
Worth asking, but I didn't think you'd have anything.
Yeah.
So we will provide whatever support we can. I think some of us can even, you know, go to Hartford once in a while if that's necessary.
It's gonna be necessary. It's gonna, I mean, look what happened in the center of town, for, you know, like this,
I can't get to my house because of what happened in the center of town,
Yeah.
so,
all right, thank you.
thank you. Well, where was I? Did we do 8? We did have to go 8.
We
We
did
were at South,
2008.
we were at South Britain Road, I think.
Yeah, 2008, after 2008, 1746 South Britain Road.
Yeah, after 2008. South
Thomas.
Britain Road, anybody here on that?
1746 South Britain Road.
Are you here, Mark? Yeah, I'm here. Could you?
Mark Mykor for the record, Dimar, 800 Main Street South. Yeah, I've also attached pictures to this. This is really one of the more famous bridges in town. It's the arch bridge is a masonry arch bridge. If you've gone by, when you go up to 1746, you see all the nice stone masonry
Yeah.
pillars that are there.
Yeah,
That bridge there is
with the
the
town
arch
structure.
is standing, but everything around it is gone. This is like one of the pictures of just the washout. And then here's them trying to get their car out so they can get home.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we are under emergency action on this one. I am working with them, trying to get we're working on a structural bridge engineer. This is gonna be a complete rebuild for a bridge. Not cheap, you know, something like this, I can tell you, is gonna be in the area of $400,000.
400.
Yeah. Some of this stuff, and everybody knows, that some of these things that are going on can bankrupt people.
Is the town gonna commit anything to it?
Well,
This is
that's,
on private, this is on private
I was about to say,
property.
that's well into private
Oh,
property.
it is.
So I just want, you know, I'm working with them, and again, this is a situation in which I gotta do what I gotta do.
You
And
keep us
then I'll be
advised,
putting plans and that
and
sort
I'll
of
take
thing.
a look.
Yeah, so you have your site walk, you, whatever. The only good thing that I know is that it's a good fishing hole.
Great.
So the only,
So we'll
but
move
it's just,
set this for a site
Yeah.
visit as well.
that'd be great, thanks.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
Busy night for you. We'll move to application F 2009, 113 and 115 Bagley Road. Is this an emergency? Anybody here on this one? Would you like to come up, please?
The daughter of one of the homeowners. I wasn't prepared to speak. I have a similar situation as everybody else. So I'm 125 Bagley Road. My mother lives at 113.
And
It's
what's
a
your
shared driveway. Jennifer Massey.
Joan, thank you.
The driveway, you can't access the house. It's about a 9-foot deep trench, the width of the shared driveway, about 18 feet across. There were pictures, I don't know, you don't need to see them. My mom is 79, her car is there. 2 people in the other house. 1 car is out, 1 car is there. It's just emergency, needs to be fixed.
Can they do anything temporary so they can get into the house?
We hired a contractor, Sinopoli Construction, that are actively working on it. They can walk across the neighbors, down another shared driveway. I could pick up my mom and get out, but
Okay. We'll come out, take a look at it, keep us posted on the plans.
sure.
Don't anticipate any real issues with it. I'm sure the contractor not gonna do anything really stupid.
Right,
Our
nothing
big
different.
is, we don't want a lot of heavy equipment in the stream if it's avoidable.
Mm-hmm,
They usually don't either, so I'm sure it's really not gonna be tough, except very hard.
right, inexpensive.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, old business,
We already talked
Heritage
about
Crest,
1739.
we did. 76 Stonegate Drive. Okay, this is an installation of ground-mounted solar system. Have to put in a trench for conduit, and it is either, Jordan, I think you said it's right at the edge of a wetland area.
Yeah, the applicant's here.
Could you come in? Come up, identify yourself, please.
How you doing? I'm Kevin Martin. And yeah, I'm looking at installing a ground solar array on the wetlands area. And then basically 2 smaller arrays in that wetlands area. And they're gonna be using ground screws to shore them into the ground. So minimally invasive as I can be, basically no cement, no foundations or anything, no, large excavation of any kind of dirt or anything like that. Basically just enough to mount them to the ground so they don't go anywhere. Pretty straightforward for a ground solar array.
A question.
Yes.
How much square footage are we talking?
I believe between the 2 arrays is about 1,000 square feet total, like under the panels.
And would that be over wetland soils?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan actually knows more about this. I'm gonna ask him to.
Yeah, he did go out to the site and he took a look at it.
Has a thought of how to deal with this. This should be okay with you.
Okay.
Do you mind? Jordan, please.
Yep, not a
advising
problem.
the commission on your thoughts.
So during the site walk, we entered the rear of the property. The applicant displayed the 2 areas that he intends to install the solar arrays. They exist on the edge of what I would call kind of a dilapidated wetland meadow area. There's a lot of dead trees, mostly underbrush. It's not a very functioning wetland from a vegetative capacity. One of the ideas that was discussed with the applicant as being a potential give and take with the sense of installing solar arrays over wetland soils that are really not functioning in a great capacity, as well as the removal of 1 tree.
Yeah, there's a single small tree there, yeah.
It's in poor health. However, in order to kind of improve the wetlands while improving the site for the applicant, it was my recommendation that a portion of the southern wetlands meadow be rehabilitated with a planting plan to revitalize that area with the consideration of the peak canopy not encroaching on, obviously, the solar fields that are being installed. There would be coordination with the solar company as well as the applicant providing a planting plan that worked for the commission. but that would be a way of mitigating the idea of just installing solar panels in a wetland area and walking away from it. In fact, you would be getting kind of an improved health on one end while increasing the energy efficiency and the applicant's ability to generate solar on site.
So how would you upgrade the other section of the wetland?
So here's just a quick
I mean,
visual display, but simple. Dogwoods would help, spice bush. There's a lot of low-lying vegetation that's really conducive to a wetland area. Willows are fantastic wetlands vegetation, so long as the peak canopy didn't encroach on what the solar company designs as their, peak energy consumption for that site. And it would be the applicant's efforts, and I'd be more than happy to work with them to generate that plan, but that's if this commission felt that was necessary.
Martin, is that something you would find?
Yeah, I mean, I was
acceptable?
willing to work with the commission and, obviously to mitigate as much changes to the wetlands as possible.
Also make your property worth more.
What was that?
It would also make your property.
Yeah, I mean, that's, exactly, and, I mean, solar's kind of a green thing too as well, so I mean, and I appreciate you guys, hearing this too, because I know there's a lot of storm.
Is this enough square footage to run the whole house?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
yes,
Can
it
you
is.
put in a power pack?
I wasn't planning to do batteries right now, because there is a net metering where it acts like a virtual battery, so you can, kind of bank all the energy you use,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, so it's.
Kinda nice to have your own battery.
Yeah, the battery's nice as a,
Maybe a
like a
little
backup.
later.
Yeah, maybe, in the future, maybe, but yeah, my main concern was to get the solar in there. I mean, obviously, everyone knows Eversource rose prices recently anyway, so.
I have a question. Is the soil that you're talking about where it would be converted to wetland area, is that conducive to that transformation?
Yeah, it's a wetland meadow, so these are all surveyed wetlands, so the soil type is a not free draining soil material. I'd be happy to touch base with earth tones as well in conjunction with the applicant in order to work on a plan that, worked for this commission, but it's all been surveyed. These are delineated wetlands, so the conduciveness to their ability to hold this type of planting would be pretty high.
Is there some sort of maintenance plan? I mean, you have a significant solar array, you're gonna have to manage the vegetation surrounding it. I realize it's a meadow, but that doesn't mean it's gonna stay that way forever.
Can you elaborate on that, Dan? I apologize.
I mean, you're like,
You gotta
you're
kind
gonna
of,
have stuff growing there over the next however many years.
Yeah,
these
so
things are usable.
maintaining from like a invasive standpoint. Is
Yeah,
that kind of what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
the land around it obviously would be unchanged,
It's
basically.
grass,
It's
yeah.
just, it's basically, there's not much really around
how
there,
high up off the ground are we talking?
8 feet.
8 feet, so I mean, we're not worried about meadow grass growing over and having to be managed.
Oh, you're
in
talking
some
about the
way.
maintenance
Oh,
of
yeah.
the solar panel
Yes.
area.
It's gonna have to
Surrounding
go
the
in
shore,
there,
I mean,
cut
that's
around,
gonna be in the
keep the
wetland
trees
area,
out,
we have
keep-
maintenance.
Yeah,
that
so
goes
there's,
along.
other than a one single tree, there's nothing, where the solar panels need to face, which is south, there's nothing in front of that area other than that one single tree. So
mean,
we don't
going-
have to really,
Going forward, like.
going forward, there'd be nothing really to do.
You
We would just kind of
manage-
leave it as is for the most part. I mean, it-
The-
may I suggest that we approve the application, subject to receiving a maintenance plan? It doesn't have to be fancy, but something so
Okay.
that we know, you're recognizing, oh
What it
yeah,
is you
trees
think
are
you're
starting to grow up, how do I fix it? Well, I can't drive a truck in there, it's gotta be done by hand.
oh, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
I
you get
understand.
saplings growing up right in front of your solar array.
Yeah,
The
In-
plan
in
is to
8 years, yeah.
take them out,
Yeah.
right? You're not
yeah,
gonna-
I mean, yeah, in theory, there shouldn't be
If
anything,
you
but
can
yes.
just write a
yes.
little something up and submit it, it'll go in with the application.
Okay.
And that way, if,
Just, yeah,
I'll just keep it in your mind, you're gonna do it anyway, cause it's gonna
Yeah.
cut down your efficiency if it grows up.
yes,
Do we-
no, that makes sense,
Do
yes.
we still require wetland markers for this sort of thing, where we're doing work in a wetland?
You're doing work in a wetland, I mean, it's already been subdivided, that should have been considered,
Should
in
be.
my opinion,
Okay,
at that
that's
time.
fine.
And it's up to the commission's discretion, still.
Okay.
You want markers?
No, I'm asking, like, is that something we need to require because we're doing work in wetlands here?
We often do. This is kind of a one-shot. I kind of like them, actually.
in the wetland markers, 4x4 sticking out of the ground, or some sort of marking that shows that this is where the wetlands are, and this is
So like, yeah,
where
so
they
the
are.
borders,
Not for
you're
you.
like like serving where the wetland starts and ends?
Yeah, so that any future owner will know, yeah, I can't go in there and cut these
So-
trees down and make it into lawn, or,
Yeah, I mean, generally yeah, I can understand that. Where you're gonna put it, generally, you probably wouldn't do anything with it, but yeah, I mean.
The
it's-
reason I ask is like you have your array there, and you go out with your mower, and you're gonna be mowing this area now where you weren't before, is what the maintenance and sort of like, this is a wetland area, this is where we're gonna leave it and manage.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to go up fairly high to block it, but there would be some maintenance, like you
But
said,
that's what I'm
involved.
saying,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
take too long.
Yeah, no, there's always gonna be some maintenance, and
You're
obviously
gonna
with
get
all the rain.
vines climbing up
Yeah,
the
I mean,
vines.
you're right, there's, with the rain and everything we get lately too, obviously, it's gonna
So,
encroach on there, so. But that makes sense for maintenance,
let
yeah.
me recapitulate. I move we approve the application subject to receipt of a maintenance plan and the installation of markers every 50 feet?
I would think 2 would suffice, spaced out along that wetlands
Fine,
meadow
just something.
area, because
Okay.
once we get to the back, the slope drops off so significantly
Okay.
that the potential for work to occur back there, would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
So
I
2
agree.
markers?
I think 2 markers
Just
would more than
something so
suffice.
that, if you do sell the house, or, somebody comes through to do maintenance at your property
know
while
that.
you're
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah, no, you know where it is, just like a property line,
Yep.
and you know where it is, yeah,
We will
makes sense.
draw that resolution up.
Okay.
What's been moved hasn't been seconded.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. So
Okay.
what I'm saying is, we'll get that written up, you will get a copy
Okay,
of the whole thing, and you'll know what needs to be done, and then you need to get us a plan.
okay.
Because your permit doesn't go into effect until we get the plan.
You can plan for the maintenance and everything, and the markers, obviously, they have to go there. Okay. You got it.
Very good.
Sounds good, thank you.
very much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Don't forget those batteries. All right. I think we only have 2 left. 470 is the season correct at 471 Old Poverty Road? I have no idea what the status of this is.
471 Old Poverty Road, that was the land trust issue. If we decide to have a special meeting prior to the next, I will make sure that either the land trust, or ideally the applicant and the land trust are in attendance, so we can clear this up.
All right,
And
we'll
figure
just
out
push
what
this
stage.
off, push this off for tonight then to the next meeting.
Yep.
Great. Please desist at Old Plaster House Road. General site work within the upland review area. Ah, there you are. So where are we?
I'm Mike Malady. I submitted a remediation plan.
I didn't see that. Oh, could you give your name and address, please?
Mike Malady, 40 Plaster House Road.
I don't know anything about it. Anything further from the last meeting?
It was a
I
while
haven't
ago.
seen the plan, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, it was quite a while ago.
She might not have brought it down. I can check upstairs. Mike, why don't you just elaborate on the plan? For the most part, if I recall, the plan kind of just displayed the area that he intends to remediate along that brook side. The plan also includes the future proposed driveway that'll come in a subsequent application when the applicant's ready to move forward with that, as well as realigning the area of the stream that was crossed and diverted in order to create that crossing.
Okay.
Is that correct, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question. Since we've been out there, has this rainstorm changed the configuration there?
No, we were lucky. Everything drained pretty well. There wasn't any damage. There wasn't any runoff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
He went to get the plan, because none of us have seen it. I'm sorry.
Okay. The plan has some plantings put back in place. I'm sorry. Some plantings. Remove any sort of invasive vines that may have grown since the work was done. And then there was a discussion whether or not there was some wood that was stacked there,
Yeah.
whether you want to leave that or take it. I was under the impression that you were leaning more towards leaving it, so on the plan, she left to leave it. If you want it removed, then we can change to remove it, but, you know, I think everyone.
Makes that much difference. Okay, I'd like to see the plan.
Mhm.
It's been a little busy the last couple of
Did you
weeks.
say that was
Yeah.
the owner that's adjacent to your property?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, well, you're talking about the owner that's adjacent to your property?
Yeah, that property line dispute has been settled. We're not, we did not encroach on her property.
You have to get the plan. So we could use a projector, which we have.
I'll just stand up here and you can explain what you intend to do.
The shaded area is where she has some plantings that she moved.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, move, just, if you could move back so you're on the mic. Hold it up.
The shaded area, she has some reseeded areas with different mix
Okay.
for different areas, and then trees, realign the trench.
Oh, all right, I see it now. This is going up along the neighbor's property line where the stream is.
Yes.
The bottom one is where we had that
The wood-
pile of logs and
That's here, she
Stuff,
left
right.
that as part of
And
the
that
plan.
is on his property.
that is on his property, I know that. That
Any
looks
questions, anyone wants to?
pretty reasonable to me. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so we're not putting a road up through the middle of that.
No, Mike understands if the road, when he's ready to construct the road, he already has the plan in place and he just simply needs to come forth with an application to this commission.
Okay, very good, thank you, that's a big help. Thanks a
Okay.
lot, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Any other questions?
No,
Mike, you're all set? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
thanks, Mike.
So the question is, how would you like to move forward with the enforcement action on the property?
I think we approve the plan, I will move that we approve the plan and terminate the enforcement action.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Laflamme, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None, plan passes. Thanks, Mike, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks. Good luck with that house, too.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I think somebody near you might be anxious to get some of that done.
Between work and everything else, it's,
I know, it's slow. Hey, you're lucky, you didn't get flooded.
No, we're very lucky.
yeah, we were really lucky. Our neighbors up the street, Jeremy Swamp.
The extension,
Oh, yeah, mess. Yeah.
that beautiful red house, yeah.
Yeah.
Glass house.
The glass house.
It's gone.
Tony and Eve.
Right.
It's a
So
shame.
Mike,
And
just
across
keep
the
in touch with
street,
me
our
as
town
far as the
engineer.
implementation of the plan, and you and I will just keep in contact as this kind of progresses, okay?
Yeah.
Given
His
everything that's
entire
happened,
driveway,
I'm sure you're
looks like a
busy.
towel over a rock.
should I wait?
I'm
He lives
I'm
across
okay
the
with that,
street.
but yeah, let's check in probably around, I'm sorry?
It has to be published. He has to wait 2 weeks.
He doesn't have to post anything.
No, he have to.
That's fine.
So he has to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's saying he's gonna wait anyway.
Okay.
For the most part, I'd say let's touch base in October and see kind of what stage you're at. By all means, move forward with any planning, with any contracting, whatever you wanna do. You'll probably do most of the work yourself, given the equipment on site. So just purchasing the plants, feel free to move forward with all that. And when you're all set and ready, let me know. We can even just have a simple correspondence back and forth as the work progresses. Okay?
You want to inspect the trench?
Yep.
We
When
just
that-
want to take a look at it.
When that goes on, we'll be in touch. But yeah, just keep me abreast of everything and we'll be fine. Alrighty?
All right, sounds good.
Thank you both very much. Take care.
Thanks. All right. Moving on to other business, aquifer regulations. We're not discussing that tonight.
No.
Officers report. Anything from anybody? None. Enough. Bills and receipts. No bills and receipts. This is going great. Correspondence. No correspondence.
Okay.
Approval of minutes of the August 13th special meeting. Any comments? No? I'll move the minutes be approved. Any other business? Anybody have anything?
Can I ask just a clarifying question? Did
course.
we vote site visit for that one?
We are.
So that, in my opinion, handles all of the additional ones, just from a clerical perspective. If this commission could have a brief conversation about when the ideal time to hold a special meeting would be, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it. We've gotta talk about some of this stuff. People need to move. Next week, I'm generally good. I'm good. Thad, I think, is generally around. I don't know about anybody else.
I'm good with
And so
3:15.
Flannery, probably not.
Any day but
I can
Tuesday.
check.
Any
You
day.
guys were talking about afternoons, correct?
So,
Afternoons.
next Tuesday? Next Tuesday for a special meeting?
Tuesday,
Hmm,
as far as I know, that's fine. After 3:30,
okay.
say 3:45, does that work?
4 o'clock?
I'm good with 3:30.
3:30, okay, 3:30.
Okay.
I can do that, I think. Thad can.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm out in the afternoon.
Dan's out.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I can be available,
Monday.
for sure.
Maybe Monday.
Yeah, actually, how about Wednesday?
Wednesday? Oh, I can't do Wednesday.
You're
I have
good or
s- I
not?
have staff, well, I'm good. 3:30, 3:45. I'm good.
3:30 Wednesday?
Yeah.
Good for me?
Wednesday's good for you?
Thad?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
And Dan's good, and we can check with Carl.
So that would be
Mike,
the
are you
18th?
Tomorrow or a week
A
from?
week
A week from
18th.
tomorrow, I should be able to do
Oh,
that.
that's good, that's a good time. So next Wednesday, 3:30. We'll pick up all the bits and pieces we kind of left lying around today.
So that'll be Wednesday, the 18th at 3:30 in this room. Does anyone have any prior obligations to that date?
No, that's okay.
Good.
Wednesday morning is not good, but the afternoon's fine. All right, I move we adjourn.
Second time.
Good man. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, we are adjourned. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. We can use another member if you'd like to join.